Joe, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? T, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Funky brother, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. Good evening, brother Miles and the rest of the CMF family. Let's go. Manny, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Yama and Khalid, good to see you. How you doing? Hi Miles, hope you're well. I'm doing great. How you been? Bert, hi Miles, how you doing? I'm doing great. Bert, how you doing? Miles, how you doing? Theos, I'm doing brilliant. How you doing? Hi from Malaysia. How you doing, Shakira? Good to see you as well. Good evening, Miles and family. Ian, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. Dennis, how you doing? How you been? Khalid says, can't wait to hear what happened in the market briefly. Let's go. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hello, Miles. Mickey, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, let's do a breakdown of what we're going to be going through on tonight's live. Morning, Miles and CMF, listening with my brother today. Let's go. Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning. And Shelly's brother, morning as well. How you doing? On tonight's episode of CMF Live, by the way, episode 217 we're on right now, which is incredible. So, on tonight's episode of the CMF Live, we're going to be going through these topics. Bitcoin essentially hitting $100,000, which is an incredible milestone for Bitcoin, to be fairly honest. And we're going to go through some perspectives from different CEOs and executives around the world, and also President Trump's essentially opinion on Bitcoin crushing it and essentially overpassing $100,000. We're going to be talking about MicroStrategy on tonight's live as well. MSTR. MicroStrategy has made incredible gains on profits. We're going to go through the numbers. Their new data has came out. We're going to be talking about Mara. Mara essentially is one of the biggest mining corporations, Bitcoin mining corporations in the United States. They're also getting prepared to purchase more Bitcoins. Ridiculous amount, to be fairly honest. We're also going to be going for the news topic on tonight's live regarding Argentina. Argentina is going to be launching the first ever Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs through their country. Not only that, but Argentina is going to be essentially introducing a multitude of ETFs to do with the stock market, the crypto markets, a mixture of essentially crypto assets and ETFs. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live as well, essentially how much money can bring to the table. We're going to be talking about the United Arab Emirates, in other words, Dubai and Abu Dhabi and so on. We're going to go through essentially their new regulations on stable coins, and that's something that could essentially happen in other Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar. We're also going to go through the news of Chainlink on tonight's live. Chainlink essentially and Phantom have integrated themselves into the Australian investment firm, essentially Fort Lake, and they're going to be going inside of tokenizations, which is incredible news for Australia, incredible news for Chainlink and Phantom as well. We're also going to go through the news topic on tonight's live regarding Bernstein. Bernstein has introduced a new report on how they think that Bitcoin is going to be replacing gold, according to their new reports. We're going to go through some data points on that matter as well. We're also going to go through the news topic of South Korea on tonight's live. If you don't know, South Korea is going through some difficulty situations right now, very difficult situations with martial law situations, the army breaking out into the country and so on. But there's a few things happening in South Korea that could be very relatable to this whole martial law situation and very relatable to the crypto market space, which we're going to go through on tonight's live. We're also going to be talking about the Philippine Central Bank, who's a part of the Bank of International Settlements. They've just conducted their last stages of their CBDC, and they're getting ready to implement, but not this year. Most cases next year, just like the rest of the CBDCs around the world. We're also going to go through the news topic of Ripple on tonight's live regarding XRP Ledger, CBDCs, and one particular crypto asset that's going to be helping Ripple's essentially CBDC progress in one country. Once we get to that news, I'll reveal which other crypto project it is that's helping the XRP Ledger regarding CBDCs. We're also going to go for the news topic of another company inside the United States that's decided to add Bitcoin to their treasury by following MicroStrategy's footsteps, but also adding XRP at the same time, which is something that's never happened before. But I think we're going to see more often this happening, where companies are not only going to be adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, but also XRP. And we're going to go through the CEO perspective of this company as well. He's came out with his perspective of why essentially he's chosen to put XRP alongside Bitcoin when he's purchasing assets for his company. So those are the news topics we're going to go from tonight's live regarding CBDC, central bank news, Bitcoin reaching $100,000, data reports from CEOs, executives around the world, rules and regulations, and so on. The first news we are going to be going through is regarding Bitcoin hitting $100,000 and different perspectives from different CEOs over their excitement on the market space and moving forward. But before we go for any of those news topics, I just want to say to everyone, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, the CMF stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And on this live, you can tune in every single night. And I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. Also, we do Q&As on this live as well, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and what advice is only for entertainment purposes. So, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, and if you're regular, let's go CMF. We are on episode 217 right now, which is incredible. And I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that essentially is liking this live on X, because I'm getting notifications. Thanks so much to everyone that's liked this live on X, retweeted this live on X, and put a comment outside the video on X. And thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's watching, who's also liked the video as well. So, let's go through the comment section first before we go straight into the first news, and then we just go back and forth. Comment section news, comment section news. So let's see where we are at. Hi Miles, third night in a row tuning in since finding you. Great show, thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words. Honestly, thank you so much for the kind words. I'm happy that you're enjoying the live. It's your third time watching it back to back. Let's go. We're all going to be millionaires. Let's go, clock. Facts. Hey, Miles and family, commenters. Good to see you. How you doing? Good evening, Miles. And how are you? I'm doing great, Callie. Good to see you. How you been? Miles, is RLUSD being approved by New York? Yes. RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, is going to be approved by the New York Department of Financial Services. They have to give it a green light before the RLUSD token essentially is, activated. Is the New York Department going to give the RLUSD stablecoin a green light? Yes, 1 billion% they have to. As I said previously, yesterday they attended the Ripple Swell event. The New York Department of Financial Services attended the Ripple Swell event in Miami that recently passed, and they went on stage and gave some, speeches on that matter as well. So, is it going to be passed? Yes, but do they have to pass it? Yes. Hi, Miles and CMF. Denise, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free and forever. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, hi, Miles and CMF. Hope all is well. Why is the market down? We're going to go on to that matter as well. Solomon, good to see you as well. How you doing? The first topic on tonight's live is this. There's a lot of CEOs coming out, and essentially they're excited about Bitcoin reaching $100,000, passing a little bit over $100,000 as well. And we're going to start off with this one. Anthony jokes about buying Donald Trump essentially a Christmas gift as he and other Bitcoin bulls celebrate Bitcoin reaching $100,000. History has been made today with Bitcoin crossing $100,000, following Bitcoin reaching the highly anticipated essentially mark. Anthony, the hedge fund manager who experienced a brief tenure in the Trump administration, jokes that he owes his essentially former boss a gesture of gratitude. When asked about his rise in Bitcoin's prices after Trump's re-election, he joked, "I probably have to buy Donald Trump a Christmas present. He used to call Trump a friend, but now he sees him as a danger to the country, like a McDonald's gift card." Anthony, like many of the investors who essentially preserved with their BTC through its ups and downs, scandals and scams, is now enjoying great profits. The original crypto hit a six-figure price today, which is incredible. This is not only essentially a ridiculous amount of increase from its 5% price 5 years ago, but it's also proof that people who held on to essentially the ideal where it was right, people no longer think of this mysterious internet money as a little essentially asset, but they think of it more as essentially an asset to be looked upon, an asset that could be compared to gold because of the targets it's reaching right now. They no longer see Bitcoin as a criminal asset or a scam or essentially a speculative tool, but they actually see it as a comparable asset to gold. when the heights is reaching right now. With support from the next president and the exchange-traded funds that hold $108 billion that are directly linked to the digital currency, Bitcoin has crossed the line into something that looks legitimate right now. And Donald Trump congratulated the Bitcoiners after hitting $100,000 mark. He added, "You are welcome. Together we make America great again." This commentary shows that Trump knows the impact he has made on the crypto market space, on Bitcoin essentially as well. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, wrote, "Bitcoin is the best performing asset of the last 12 years, and it's still in its early days. Happy Bitcoin, $100,000 day." And Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk, also joined the celebrations by tweeting essentially the like button on X. When the milestone level essentially approached, the head of Skybridge Capital remarked, "Bitcoin worth $100,000 in a recent interview," he added, "I feel validated." CZ, also the former CEO of Binance, answered the people who congratulated him on making money from Bitcoin. He wrote, "No, not exactly. I still have the same number of Bitcoins. It's just everything else became a little cheaper relative to Bitcoin." On the other hand, Peter, who is still a anti-crypto, essentially an anti-Bitcoin person, wrote on X, "It's ironic that Bitcoin only hits $100,000 by buying off politicians and getting into bed with governments. Without expected government interventions, this milestone would have never been hit. What couldn't be done in a free market was achieved through essentially a cohesive power of state." But to be fairly honest, Peter is always lost. Peter used to have, essentially, Peter is an investor that had the opportunity to buy Bitcoin at around $11, and he never did. And from then on until now, Peter has been spiteful towards anyone holding Bitcoin or any sort of crypto assets. And every time Bitcoin essentially hits a new target, Peter is there to make everybody look bad. Even when Bitcoin touches $100,000, it's an incredible day for Bitcoiners. Peter is still there to damage everybody's dreams. But Mike Novoscott, the founder of CEO of Galaxy, the CEO of Digital Galaxy, is one of the industry leaders who has consistently essentially predicted that Bitcoin will surpass $100,000. He said, "We are seeing a paradigm shift, and Bitcoin, the whole ecosystem of digital assets, are on the brink of entering the mainstream of finance after the 4 years of political essentially purgatory." And also, Mike Novoscott said, "Over the long term, I am bullish. It won't be a straight line up, and investors should always consider taking gains off the table. But with pro-crypto administrations about to take charge inside the United States, it will be hard for the rest of the world not to take notice." In addition, the co-founder of Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, said as a $100,000 milestone approached, the significance of Bitcoin's price breaking through the $100,000 milestone lies in providing the public with a powerful memory point, showing that these unbelievable things are really happening. She also added that the small persistent efforts accumulated day by day over the past decade by members of the crypto community will ultimately converge into a historical scene. Although a healthy skepticism towards digital assets persists in numerous sections of Wall Street, the view has become costly due to the persistent returns and resilience of Bitcoin, as well as the abrupt drastic reversal in the outlooks for regulatory risk inside the crypto industry. Rick, also the prospective CEO of Charles Schwab's, has stated that the company intends to provide a spot crypto trading once US regulations are simplified, which he anticipates will occur during the upcoming administration. There's a list of CEOs and executives that are jumping up and down on Bitcoin touching $100,000, which I completely understand. But there's also a few weasels in that list as well. One of them essentially is Mike Novoscott. Mike Novoscott, the CEO of Galaxy Digital, he's the same man that was trying to get essentially Kamala Harris elected for president, but now he's jumping up and down because Trump made Bitcoin go to $100,000. And, he's very pro-Trump all of a sudden, but he still sometimes goes against Trump. But the only reason, honestly, the crypto markets are going where they're going right now, which is mainstream finance, as it was stated by one CEO who came out and said, we're going towards mainstream finance, not just for Bitcoin, but for the entire cryptocurrency market space. And then we have another CEO essentially stating, Charles Schwab CEO, stating that we're going to be going into regulations in the next 4 years, which means more companies and institutions will be getting involved inside the crypto space. The only reason that is the market is moving essentially towards a bigger future for the crypto asset space is because of Donald Trump. There is no other reason. Because of Donald Trump, Gary Gensler loses his job. Because of Donald Trump, the FDIC chairman, who was stifling banks from working with crypto companies, loses his job. Donald Trump hiring a new SEC a new SEC chairman, a new FDIC chairman, getting rules and regulations, more institutions, more banks. The world will follow American markets. Everything you're seeing right now is because of Donald Trump. And the man still doesn't get enough praise. Even from people like Mike Novoscott, who are making millions or billions from Bitcoin's price target. But he's still essentially against Donald Trump, which just blows my mind of how arrogant some people can be. Now, moving away from essentially the CEO's and executive perspective on the market space to MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin essentially reports and data points have came out on how much profits they're looking at right now and how much they're going to be going forward. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin strategy yield has brought in $17 billion in unrealized profits, which is ridiculous. MicroStrategy MSTR Bitcoin buying spree has generated more than $17 billion in unrealized profits, according to data from MSTR Tracker. Since 2020, the company has spent over $23 billion acquiring Bitcoin as a part of the founders, Michael Saylor's unconventional corporate treasury strategy. This strategy has paid off, with Bitcoin surpassing $100,000 per coin for the first time on December 4th. The company's BTC treasury is now valued at over $40 billion, according to MSTR Tracker, the top performing stock in 2024. MicroStrategy's stock performance has outpaced Bitcoin itself, rising more than 475% year to date. This makes it one of the top performing stocks on the S&P 500 based on data from Google Finance. And as of December 5th, MSTR has a market capitalization of approximately $92 billion, more than twice the value of essentially his Bitcoin holdings. Benchmark fintech analyst Mark also raised his price targets for MSTR shares from $450 to $650, citing the company's aggressive buying strategy. Currently, MSTR trades at about $394 per share, according to Google Finance. And expanding Bitcoin holdings during essentially an August 1st earning call, MicroStrategy introduced the concept of Bitcoin yields, a metric that tracks Bitcoin's holdings relative to outstanding shares. The company is committed to a massive, essentially 3-year BTC buying spree, dubbed the 2121 plan. I previously reviewed the 2121 plan from MicroStrategy. They're raising essentially $42 billion to buy more Bitcoin. Despite criticism, analysts note that MicroStrategy's bold strategy has essentially delivered an exceptional amount of returns for its shareholders. The dramatic impact on the company's share price has provided an ample justification, as the stock has outperformed almost every large company in the US during the past 4 years. With 400,000 Bitcoins as of December 5th, MicroStrategy's Bitcoin-centric approach continues to attract attention and drive significant gains. Also, companies like MicroStrategy, MSTR stock, in other words, are helping the price of Bitcoin rise further and further, to be fairly honest. And also, again, this is just because of Trump. They're going more and more towards digital assets because rules and regulations are on the way. And MicroStrategy is not the only one still doing this, buying Bitcoin no matter what, because Mara is now essentially raising $850 million to buy Bitcoin at these prices. Bitcoin is sitting around $100,000, and institutions want to buy more of it. Mara Holdings, Wall Street's largest publicly traded Bitcoin miner, has successfully closed a second $850 million of offerings of convertible senior notes. The company made the announcement on December 5th via X post, outlining that the primary use of the proceeds will be acquired to Bitcoin and repurchase some of its outstanding convertible notes in 2026. In the accompanying press, Mara confirmed that the notes will be issued with no interest, except in rare cases where special interest may be applied, with principal amount expected to return unchanged. The notes are set to mature in 2031 and are convertible in the company's discretions into cash, common stock shares, or combination of both. The Bitcoin miner projects that net proceeds from its offerings will amount to approximately $835 million, with the potential to increase to $985 million should additional notes be fully purchased. The company plans to allocate roughly $48 million of these proceeds to repurchase approximately $51 million of existing convertible notes, which are due by 2026. The remaining essential returns will be used acquiring more Bitcoin for more general corporate purposes, and also including working capital, strict acquisitions, and expansions of assets and debt repayments. This move follows Mara's previous $700 million zero interest convertible senior notes offering due 2030. The company also recently acquired 703 bitcoins in November after earlier buying 5,771 bitcoins, which brought its total acquisition to 6,474 bitcoins they own already right now. They're raising more money to buy a lot more Bitcoin. The purchase was made with a previous zero interest convertible senior note sale that raised $1 billion. At the time, the mining company also revealed it has approximately $160 million in remaining funds, which plans to use for its future buying when it comes to Bitcoin on price dips. As the latest update in terms of Bitcoin treasuries shows that Moro now holds a total of 34,794 Bitcoins, valued at approximately $3.3 billion. This positions the company as the second largest corporate holder of cryptocurrencies, behind only essentially MicroStrategy, which recently essentially made a purchase of $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. The market has responded positively to the firm's latest movements. Google Finance data shows that the company's stocks closed up 3.30%, reaching $25.96. And additionally, over the past month, Moro stock prices have surged by 59.85%, and its year-to-date growth stands at essentially 13.2%. Now, this is another indication essentially of when institutions want to go for crypto assets, they don't really care if it's sitting at a discount or not, because MicroStrategy is not the only one, using this strategy of buying Bitcoin no matter what the price is. As I said previously, about 8 to 9 companies now that are following MicroStrategy's footsteps, and one of them is Moro. It's a publicly traded essentially company in Wall Street that is raising millions of dollars, and in some cases $1 billion, to buy more Bitcoin at these prices. Which is something that I've been seeing for the longest time inside the crypto space, is that institutions don't need to push you out of your positions, because if they see an interest in an asset, they're going to go for it no matter what the price is. Because a lot of people wouldn't comprehend that institutions will buy $100,000 Bitcoins. It makes no sense for institutions to buy $100,000 Bitcoins. It's what some people would assume to themselves. And then they think essentially that institutions would need discounts to buy inside the market space. They want to buy Bitcoin at $70,000, not $100,000, which is completely wrong thinking. We need to comprehend is that the institutions have an incredible amount of budget. And if they see an asset, they're going for 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 25-year projections. Another indication of what I've been saying for the longest time, where this company, essentially Moro, is raising $850 million to buy Bitcoin at these prices, around about $100,000 per token. This is why I've always said institutions don't really need to push you out of your positions. The retail section tend to push themselves out of their positions by panic selling. While the institutions are buying $100,000 Bitcoins, people will sell essentially much more lower prices for quick profits. Depends what you're going for, to be fairly honest, a short-term profit or a long-term future of wealth. And that applies to every crypto asset that's legitimate. Same goes for XRP, and XLM, and XDC, and HBAR, and a few others. Now, Argentina. On the topic of essentially of Bitcoin essentially doing incredible numbers, Argentina has introduced a new concept for their own country. The first ever Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF is going to be happening in Argentina, but they're also adding a few other options to their Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs and cryptocurrency ETFs. Now, before we go through that, let's go to the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the Argentinian news straight after. Let's see where we were at. We were at here. My Phantom and XRP are fighting for first place in my portfolio. Let's go, chill zone. I'm biking back home from being a slave work for 10 hours straight. Just stopped to say good evening, everyone. Talk, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. Hello, CMF. Tony, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Evening, Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you. How you doing, brother? How you been? Hi, Miles and CMF. Stormy, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hello, Miles and CMF. Carol, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? JP says they don't want to give them the recognition. They all hate him. Regarding Trump, yeah. And Trump is the one that's, boosting the crypto markets right now. But there are still some weasels inside the market space that generally don't want to give Trump the recognition. Hi, Miles and CMF. Connie, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Just curious, on CoinMarketCap, have you got your token price on pounds or dollars? Pounds. Evening, Miles and CMF. Jason, good to see you. How you doing? Hello, Miles and CMF. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? I put mine on pounds and sometimes dollars. So I put it on pounds and USDT. So I could go to USDT and see what the price is. I could go to British pounds and see what the price is. Now, Argentina. Argentina has launched the first of a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs and Cedar with Banco and Mercado Argentinos. So Argentina has recently launched its first Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs through Cedar, an initiative coordinated by Blossos and Mercados and Argentinos and Banco. This edition brings 5 new ETFs to the Argentinian market space. BYM has announced essentially that it will soon enable trading of several ETFs on its platform in Argentina. These include an Ethereum ETF, a Bitcoin ETF, an inverse of the short S&P 500 index, a physical gold essentially, and a ETF that tracks the index of 50 largest companies in China. Which is the weird part about Argentina, that why is Argentina adding essentially an ETF to track the top 50 Chinese companies? These ETF seeders are designed to allow investors to gain diversified exposure through a single investment instrument, which can help in reducing investment risks. This is a good step in widening the range of financial instruments available in the Argentinian market space. The overview of the new 5 ETFs that are going to be happening inside of Argentina's market space. Ether. This fund is designed to replicate the value of Ethereum, allowing investors to gain exposure to the cryptocurrency without directly purchasing it. So, Ethereum ETF. IBIT. Similar to the Ether, this fund aims to mirror the value of Bitcoin, marking the first introduction of the cryptocurrency into Argentina's stock market. GLD ETF. This fund tracks the price of physical gold, offering investors an opportunity to invest in traditional assets and potentially benefit from the price of increases of gold. SH. This fund is structured to replicate the daily performance of the short S&P 500 index, offering a hedge against market downturns, which is a bit interesting because the next one gets a little bit more interesting. FXI. This fund aims to replicate the index consisting of the 50 largest companies in China, providing exposure to Chinese market spaces. So the Argentinian market space, their version of Wall Street, in other words, has introduced 5 ETFs. Bitcoin ETF, which I understand, Ethereum, which I understand, Gold ETF, which makes sense. It's the last 2 that are very weird. Why are they introducing a short version of the S&P 500, so shorting the market of an S&P 500? And then the 5th one is the top 50 Chinese companies in Argentina. It almost seems like they're betting against the American market space and betting with the Chinese market space. If you really think about it, they're shorting the ETF that they created as a short version of the S&P 500. And then the next ETF they've created is a long version, basically, of the 50 top Chinese companies. They're betting on China to do well, but then giving an option to any investor to bet against the S&P 500. These funds are significant as they represent the integration of traditional financial instruments with emerging crypto assets, offering regulated investment avenues into cryptocurrencies and other assets. They cater to a range of investments and strategies, from those seeking stability in essentially traditional assets like gold to those looking to invest in volatile cryptocurrency markets or the growing Chinese economy. What growing Chinese economy? China is headed towards a bubble, and the moment Trump comes into power, they're going to go on the tariffs. Odd. The last 2 that they're introducing as an ETF, extremely odd. Betting against the American S&P 500 and then betting with Chinese companies. China's reaching far because Argentina seems like they're giving hints they're standing with China. Now, moving away from essentially Argentina's market space and their introducing of, Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, which, by the way, is going to be happening worldwide, not just Bitcoin and Ethereum, but in general, a multitude of cryptocurrencies are going to be getting ETFs, and baskets of crypto ETFs will be created, just like Grayscale. Grayscale created the large fund cap of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and AVAX into one big, essentially, fund as an ETF. That's going to be happening on a worldwide basis as well. So we're just seeing more indications of this happening around the world. and especially Latin American countries. In Brazil, for example, this is happening as well. We're going Bitcoin ETFs, Solana ETFs, Ethereum ETFs, and so on. But moving away essentially from Latin American countries and going into the Middle East, the regulatory authority for the United Arab Emirates issues its stablecoin frameworks. So these are the regulations that the United Arab Emirates has came out for stablecoins in the crypto space for their own jurisdictions. Now, whatever the United Arab Emirates does essentially in regulations basis, it's most likely going to be applied to Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and so on. And these countries have an incredible amount of wealth. Incredible amount of wealth. And by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but they have approved a few crypto assets under their religious laws. So in religious countries, even crypto assets have to be approved for them to be able to be essentially used inside the market space by all types of investors. And there has been a few crypto assets that have been approved by the Central Bank of Bahrain under religious laws in those countries. And Bitcoin is approved, but XRP is also approved. And this is a factual documentation. You can go and check it out from the Central Bank of Bahrain. They approved XRP under religious laws. And Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, they have an incredible amount of wealth, incredible amount of oil, gas, natural resources, so on, gold. And there's only a few crypto assets that passed their religious laws for approval to be purchased. But moving on to what their core regulations are right now, the regulatory arm of the ADGM, the FSRA, Financial Services Regulatory Authority in the UAE, has just issued its first reference tokens framework, better known as the stablecoin regulation. The new framework expands the suite of digital assets already offered by the ADGM regulatory authorities. As per the press release, the framework introduces several key components to establish robust, essentially standards for FRT issuers to ensure financial stability and investor protections, such as reserve assets, governance and integrity, transparent disclosures, safeguards, and redemption rights. The framework also essentially makes FRT issuance a distinct regulated activity within the ADGM's comprehensive financial services regulatory regime. It has been designed to be a risk prominent while ensuring FRT issuers operate in safe and essentially prominent manners. Emmanuel, the CEO of ADGM FSRA, stated, "Our FRT framework is a significant milestone in the ADGM's evolution as a progressive international financial center for the Middle East, basically. Through extensive consultations with industry stakeholders, we have created a regime that balances innovation with strong regulatory oversight. This framework provides the regulatory certainty that industry participants need while maintaining high standards of financial stability and investor protection. We believe this positions ADGM as a primary jurisdiction for responsible FRT issuance that shows our commitment to fostering responsible innovation in financial services. As per the framework, an essentially accepted fiat reference token is one that, in that opinion of regulator, meets the requirements that permits essentially a regulated activity to be carried out in relation to it. The FSRA defined the fiat reference token FRT as a digital asset, the transfer of storage which is achieved through the use of distributed ledger technology or a similar technology. The FRT can be essentially used as a medium of an exchange with a stable store of value by referencing a fixed amount of single fiat currencies and enabling the holder to redeem the tokens in exchange for the amount of the fiat currency referred to from the issuers essentially upon their demand. The fiat essentially reference token can be used for remittance payments and payment transactions, including transfers, payments for services, direct debits, credit transfers between banks, including standing orders, and others. They've went extensive on their policies. In June, the United Arab Emirates Central Banks issued its United Arabs Stablecoin Payment Token Services regulation, essentially to payment tokens, not allowing algorithmic tokens to be included and only allowing foreign stablecoins to be used to purchase virtual assets, while the AED stablecoin could be used to purchase products and services within the United Arab Emirates. The Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates defined payment token services as being digital payment services in the UAE, comprising three categories, namely payment token issuance, payment token conversion, and payment token custody and transfer. Since then, Tether also has announced they will be launching AD stablecoin in early 2025, while AED stablecoin LLC in the UAE announced the central bank of AED essentially to be provided in principle approval to launch and establish its own stablecoin coins. One thing you should also know about essentially the United Arab Emirates in terms of their stable coins, in terms of their central banks and so on. The Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates has mentioned that they're not going to be using, in the past they mentioned, a few months ago to be fairly honest, they said that they're not going to be using Bitcoin or Ethereum between their central banks. They said that these types of cryptocurrencies are available to the retail section if they want to purchase it or not. But they said the central banks are not going to be using these types of assets. They're going to be using CBDCs with each other, is what the central bank of essentially the United Arab Emirates said. They're going to be using CBDCs, retail CBDCs and wholesale CBDCs between each other as in terms of transactions for domestic payments or even international payments. But they said in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and any other assets, they're going to be available inside the market spaces to the public and to essentially any institution that wants to buy them. But the central banks themselves and the banks themselves that work with the central bank are not going to be using these types of assets. They're going to be using CBDCs, retail or wholesale CBDCs. And out of 24,000, essentially out of 24,000 plus crypto assets, there is essentially only one crypto asset is in CBDCs. You know, out of 24,000 plus crypto projects, there's only one crypto asset that essentially has a active CBDC platform, has won multiple CBDC awards, and that's pretty much XRP. So, you know, as I've always said, if you're somebody that's in XRP, just like myself for years, your future looks incredibly bright. Incredibly bright. And now that we're getting more regulations coming in from the Middle East, even better. They have all the money, to be fairly honest. They have a lot of money to play around with. Now, moving on essentially from the Middle East to two crypto projects that are now working with an Australian investment company. Before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, if you're watching this for the first time ever, this is a live, which means if you do have any comments, put it outside the comment section. We're more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the Australian news regarding an Australian investment company working with two crypto assets. Let's see what's going on inside the comment section first. Jason, evening Miles and CMF, good to see you as well. How you doing, Jason? How you been? Hello, Miles and CMF. Lena, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? What's up, brother Miles? How you been? I've been doing great, Bill. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How many assets has China purchased in Argentina, Miles? A lot. China have brought up the world, pretty much. Land and industries, yes. There is a reason why essentially Argentina is giving some leeway to China and creating an ETF for 50 top Chinese companies. It is because China has invested quite a lot in Latin American countries. China wants to become the US. You know how the US goes around and borrows money to countries to build their countries, and then when they want the money back, the countries can't afford to pay it back, so the US ends up taking parts of their country. That's just how it works in the real world. China's doing the exact same thing that essentially the US has been doing for the longest time. China's going around borrowing money to countries that can never afford to pay it back, and when it's time to pay it back, they can't be able to, so which means they have to hand something over to China. How do I know this? One, because you can go read documents to find out, but two, because I'm Persian. And China essentially borrowed money to the Iranian government. China borrowed money to the Iranian government. The Iranian government are useless. The Iranian government spent that money for themselves. And then China came knocking on essentially the Iranian government's door and said, can I have my money back? And the Iranian government said, well, we spent it all. We have no more money left. And China said, no problem. I'm going to be taking a few islands. The Persian Gulf has a lot of islands that are filled with oil to the brim. So China took a few islands that are oil islands from Iran. That's just what China does. They go around and they borrow money to countries that will never pay it back, and then they take whatever they want. But who is the big, who's taking the massive loss here? Not the governments, because they couldn't care less about the people. It's the retail section that pays the price, because then prices of oil will go higher, because all of a sudden you're in Iran, but your oil is owned by China. Which is ridiculous to even think about it, but it's the reality. But that's what they'll never tell you on the news, of how countries go around. You know, because a lot of people wonder to themselves, why is the UK, for example, borrowing money? Why is the US borrowing money to this country and that country and so on? They're doing it on purpose, so that later on they can have something, they can have a piece of the pie from that country, because they know they can't afford to pay it back. That's why countries go around and borrow money. It's not because they're kind or they care about the people of that country. It's because they want something in return, which is a piece of the pie, which could be oil in some sense, gas, gold, whatever. They don't have to go to war. In the past, if a country wanted to own oil lands or essentially gas, they would have to go to war and take over a country to take control of their oil and gas. Now, it's politics. If you want to take someone's gas and oil, borrow that country money, they'll never be able to afford to pay it back. Next thing you know, you already own all of their oil, essentially lands and gas lands and so on. In the past, it was go to war to get the gold and oil. Now it's just politics. But yeah, regarding the question I was asked regarding China has brought up most of the world, it has. They're doing the exact same footprint America left behind. Railroad docks and so on. Yep. Hollow Miles and CMF family. Peg, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Joe, thank you for that, brother, for saying it sounds like you're, yeah. Good morning, Miles and CMF. Worksport, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How high you think XRP can go? Incredibly high. Not overnight, but over time. China reminds me so much of Japan back in the 80s. They owned the world until they had to give it all back because of property bubble burst. Yep, facts. Miles and family, Davey, good to see you. So how you doing, Davey? How you been? Chainlink and Phantom have just partnered essentially with an Australian investment firm. Fort Lake Asset Management has announced plans to venture into digital asset space by tokenizing its Sigma Opportunities Fund through partnerships with three focused entities: Chainlink, Bakkt, and Sonic, formerly known as Phantom. The move outlined in the company's press release is the next big step, the blending of conventional asset management and decentralized finance, or DeFi. Chainlink, an initiative blockchain data firm, will also be involved in the confirmation of collateral of the funds and supervision of the assets under management. It will also create possibilities for cross-chain liquidity to boost the utilization of the funds. At the same time, tokenization firms Bakkt will be minted on fund tokens relying on Phantom, Sonic layer ones, in other words, Phantom. Fort Lake has planned a tokenization strategy to leverage a new wave within the DeFi market space, such as lending and margin trading. Fort Lake founder and chief information officer Christian essentially Bayliss said the decision has been revolutionary for opening up the company to digital asset investors. I'll tell you one thing: Fort Lake essentially management has started something in Australia, because I'll guarantee you, more companies are going to be following this company's footsteps in Australia. The same way MicroStrategy started this trend of backing their company with assets, and BlackRock went into tokenizations and so on. We're seeing a hint of this happening more and more and more. And especially when Trump comes into power, this is going to be all over the world regarding tokenizations and ETFs and IPOs in terms of blockchain companies and traditional companies mixing and essentially mixing themselves up with essentially the DeFi space. But this is the first company essentially out of Australia doing this, and more companies in Australia will follow in suit now. So the fund is a big step. It is now how we offer exposure to our fund to burgeoning markets and digital asset investors, he said. He also said that this move is a decentralized the funds, making it easier to access and potentially opening up new chapter in fundraisings in asset management. The collaboration is also a major achievement for Sonic, as it essentially consolidates the company's stay in the DeFi space. Sam, the business development lead for Sonic, expanded on the bigger picture of the effort. The project highlights Sonic's ability to offer support for new generation digital cash assets, given a strong network in place. Sam also essentially agreed that this is one of the first steps for Sonic in its pathway to tokenizing financial assets across the globe. The Sigma Opportunity Fund has a net asset of approximately 124 Australian million dollars or essentially $80 million, and is the latest traditional asset to get the process of tokenizations and the integration of assets with blockchain technology added. This change echoes a 2023 Bank of America research report that expects the tokenization of conventional assets to reach more than $16 trillion. In the next 5 to 15 years, transforming the financial landscape, Fort Lake's plan evolves from a broader looking picture of companies in the financial sector. BlackRock, the world's largest fund manager, debuted a tokenized fund called the BlackRock essentially USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, an Ethereum-based fund. And since essentially earning a 46% total returns rate this year, Build has also raised its market capitalization to $550 million and has spread across various blockchains such as AVAX and EP217, thus making it the world's largest tokenized fund. But more institutions are going towards tokenization now. The long-term investments company Fort Lake essentially has explained its reasons for tokenizing through Sigma Opportunities Fund and taking the bull by the horns to adapt blockchain efficiencies and get essentially young investors apart from this is more a diverse an approach towards the markets, and at the same time it helps the EFA assets its future readiness and consistently changing the world in terms of financial management. The announcement made by Fort Lake regarding tokenizations of Sigma Opportunities Funds is the evolution in linking the conventional financial market space with decentralized finance to achieve a greater fund availability, to adapt the best practices of blockchain and digital technologies, and to become the leaders in the new processes in the field of investing in digital assets. And the firm is planning to integrate blockchain and work with Chainlink, backed by Sonic. So if you are somebody that's holding Chainlink, this is incredible news for you. If you're somebody that's holding Phantom, this is also incredible news for you as well. If you're somebody that's holding Sonic, this is very good news for you as well. But this is, Chainlink, Phantom, and Sonic, excellent. But what I like most is this is the first company in Australia doing tokenizations, which means what I'm looking forward to is essentially more institutions following the footsteps of this one company. The same way everybody followed MicroStrategy in terms of creating a Bitcoin strategy, just buying Bitcoin no matter what the price is and backing it with your company, which made their stock prices go higher and higher regarding MSTR in terms of MicroStrategy. But this is the first step of any Australian company to come forward for tokenizations. Amazing news, because more companies are going to follow suit. Now, also, one thing you should know about tokenizations that I've said previously that some people are not aware of, not just some people, a lot of people are not aware of regarding tokenizations. Tokenizations is not what it all seems. Tokenizations is excellent for institutions, not so great for a retail section. And the reasons behind that is, well, there is a silver lining as well, which I'll tell you towards the end. But regarding tokenizations, institutions will benefit the most compared to the retail section. If the retail section is smart enough, they can benefit a lot as well, but by going for the backbone of the project instead of the project itself. So if an institution wants to build a shiny new building, in the past, they would have to go to the bank to borrow money to build that shiny building. Now, in the present, they can just create a tokenization project. So let's say if one mega corporation, let's say if BlackRock, for example, if BlackRock wanted to build a new building and BlackRock said, we're doing a tokenization project and everybody can get involved. If you get involved in that project and you get involved in the tokenization project, who's really benefiting at the end is the company that got the building, is BlackRock basically. So because BlackRock will get a shiny new building while you own a tiny percentage, then BlackRock can go to the bank and remortgage that entire building and build another one. The example I'm trying to give you is, for example, Hilton Hotel. Hilton Hotel is doing a hotel in Argentina while building an airport as well. Hilton Hotel, instead of borrowing money from the bank to create a Hilton Hotel in Argentina, they said, we're creating a tokenization project. Everybody can get involved. $5,000 to $1,000 buy-in for tokenization of the Hilton Hotel. The people that brought the $1,000 essentially share price of a tokenization project for the Hilton Hotel got a few drinks at the bar. You paid $1,000 to get a few drinks at the bar in the Hilton Hotel when it's built. The people that paid $5,000 per token share for that tokenization project at Hilton Hotel, they got a one-night stay at the Hilton Hotel. You paid $5,000 for one night stay at the Hilton Hotel. At the end, Hilton Hotel is the one that's going to be benefiting the most, because then they can go and essentially remortgage that entire building with the bank and build another one. Well, essentially, the people that funded the project, the retail section, have got nothing in return. If you want to profit from tokenizations, go for the backbone. So if the Hilton Hotel is going to be using the XRP ledger, for example, to build the Hilton Hotel, preferably you want to go for XRP token rather than the tokenization project itself, because you're going to be reaping the benefits, because the project's going to be, for example, built on the XRP ledger. You holding the XRP token is more valuable than you going for that tokenization project. Because if you go for a tokenization project, you're just putting more money into the corporate sector. If you go for the token itself, the backbone of the project, then you're bringing money in for yourself, because it's going to add indirect value essentially on the XRP token, because more people's eyes will be on the XRP ledger. So don't be fooled essentially by shiny tokenization projects that any corporation comes out. So if Hilton Hotel, which they're doing one now in Argentina, so if Hilton Hotel or any other corporation comes out and says, we're doing a tokenization project, everybody get involved, we want to build a brand new hotel, it's a tokenization project, it's just another avenue stream to empty the pockets from the retail section. It's just another avenue stream for corporates to empty the retail section's pockets. So don't go for the tokenization projects. Instead, go for the backbone of the tokenization projects. If you ever want to benefit, just think like a corporate, which is the backbone. Never be on the scene, be off the scene. Now, Bernstein is what we're going to talk about next. But now you know about tokenizations, which is something that nobody will ever tell you. Nobody would ever tell you that. And they also did a study test as well regarding tokenizations. And they asked banks and corporates, what do you prefer, what do you like about tokenizations and what do you like about cross-border payments? The banks and the institutions were happy about cross-border payments. The banks and institutions were happy about cross-border payments. It's cheaper, it's secure, and so on. But when the idea of tokenizations was introduced, the institutions were jumping up and down in excitement, because no longer they have to go to the bank to borrow money to build a brand new building. They can just get the money from the retail section and make it into a tokenization project. So, and the study test report that they did, the number one common answer from institutions regarding why they like tokenizations is because they said it's a new avenue stream. A new avenue stream from who? The retail section. So go for the backbone. So if they say we're building on an AVAX chain, go for AVAX. If they say we're building on a Solana, go for Solana. If they say we're building it on the XRP ledger, go for XRP token. Don't go for the project itself. Okay, let's go to the comment section before we go through the Bernstein reports. China reminds me so much of I was here. Hi, Miles and family, Golden Dragon. Good to see you. How you doing? Any possibility Gary will step down sooner than January, since Trump now has the new SEC chairman selected? What's your thoughts? I want to pack his office. I want to pack his office box now and kick him out. Regarding, Gary Gensler maybe hoping to leave sooner. Look, it's a dream. I'll be honest. If Gary Gensler essentially decides to leave faster, but in reality, Gary is he's like a leech. Honestly, Gary Gensler is like a leech. He just doesn't want to let go. Even though he has announced he's resigning January 20th, which I essentially said he's going to be resigning January 20th. I said, Gary, personally, when people were asking me, when do you think Gary Gensler is going to resign, when the news still hadn't come out, I said Gary Gensler is going to resign probably 20 minutes or 5 minutes before Trump takes his seat January 20th, which then it comes out January 20th he's leaving. Literally 5 minutes before Trump takes his seat, this man is resigning on January 20th. But just to show you that, Gary Gensler is extremely spiteful. Today, Binance. So Binance a few days ago appealed to the judges that they want to dismiss their case with the SEC. Now, this case isn't relevant to CZ, or essentially any sort of money laundering situations. The SEC sued Binance the same way they sued, Kraken and Coinbase for securities. They're selling unregistered securities was the case. So a few days ago, Binance essentially went to the judge and filed in and essentially said, we want to dismiss this whole SEC case with Binance because we're not selling unregistered securities. And according to the SEC, Solana, Filecoin, Matic, and there was a list of 10 crypto assets that are unregistered securities. I'm guessing Gary Gensler picked the names of crypto assets from Binance from a fishing bowl or something, because randomly he picked them. But anyways, today, Gary Gensler filed to the judge and said, no, you should not be dismissing the Binance case because Binance is selling unregistered securities according to the Howey test. Gary Gensler is resigning on January 20th, and this man is still spiteful. He's not letting go. He's still filing, and he filed in an 18-page document. Gary Gensler filed in an 18-page document, 18 pages, to the judge of why the Binance case should not be dismissed because they're selling unregistered securities. He did that today. Yeah, this man is like a leech. Gary's like a weasel and a leech. But yeah, honestly, Pegs, it would be a dream for Gary Gensler to leave sooner. But in reality, he's like a leech. He's not going to let go until the last minute. It's the only time Gary Gensler has experienced power in his life. He's never going to experience it again. Hi, Miles of CMF. Who do you prefer to be the new SEC chairman? Who do I prefer to be the new SEC chairman? I think the one that's been chosen by Donald Trump is an excellent choice, to be fairly honest. And it's because it's essentially Paul Atkins, and alongside him is Mark and Hester Pierce. That's an incredible team. You know, the same way essentially we see Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and R.F. Kennedy, or essentially Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Elon Musk as the three trios that's going to be ruling over the world. And everybody's excited about Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and R.F. Kennedy, and J.D. Vance, and Vivek Ramsey coming together to, you know, take control of things, because things are really out of control around this world. The same way the SEC has now the three trio: Paul Atkins, Hester Pierce, and Mark. These three people are pro-crypto assets. They're pro-cryptocurrencies. They want to bring the regulations. They want to get the market moving. So the three people now that are going to be in charge of the SEC, they're good people to be in charge of. Miles, you and our family has helped me a lot of true facts of research. That being said, on the Stellar Network SHX Stronghold, I got in at 0.003. Now it's at 0.08. SHX owns the SHX. Good project, great project. We talked about that project last year, if I'm not mistaken, the first time. I'm happy that you're making profits on it. Let's go. I'm happy that you're making profits on it. Incredible. Denise says facts. Let's go, Denise. Miles, when is the next upward movements inside the market space? The next announcements we're waiting for is RLUSD. RLUSD to be green-lighted by the New York Financial Department Services. That needs to be green-lighted for us to get some momentum on an XRP. We actually have good XRP news to go from tonight's live as well towards the end. But the biggest movements we're going to be seeing inside the market space is obviously 2025. Starting January 20th or on the way to January 20th, the excitement will build up inside the crypto space. And then onwards from January 20th is obviously Trump, new SEC chairman, rules and regulations, 100 days of just incredible amounts of progress is going to be made in 100 days from the moment Trump takes his seat. And then 4 years of incredible amounts of making money. There are institutions right now lining up. As I read at the beginning of the live, I revealed one executive, Charles Schwab's. Charles Schwab's essentially came out and said that they're waiting for rules and regulations to enter the crypto market space. The amount of institutions that's going to be entering the market space the list is just incredible. So we're going to be seeing incredible movements in 2025. Honestly, everybody's future looks extremely bright, as long as you're in legitimate assets, especially XRP. Happy Pisces, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? But towards the end of the year, we should be getting the RLUSD stablecoin approved, which will give that boost for XRP. But 2025 is when we're going to be seeing incredible movements. The way Gary leaves, as I said previously, 4 years of making money. The only way Gary leaves before is if someone offers him a new job. Yeah, but there's only one job Gary Gensler wants, which he's never going to get now. Did Atkins not allude that he would let XRP case go to the Supreme Court? I could be wrong, but sure, I heard that in the interview with him. Long time ago, he did mention something on those lines, but his preferences changed. Because Hester Pierce, who is going to be alongside essentially Paul, Hester Pierce did say previously that if she was in charge of the Ripple case, it would have never ended the way it did, and that in her eyes, XRP or Ethereum or Bitcoin or a multitude of crypto assets are not securities. She's a commissioner in the SEC. She shared the exact same value points as the CFTC chairman, Rostam Benham. And also, Trump is going to put more power in the hands of the CFTC when it comes to crypto regulations and policies than the SEC. Even though the SEC has a new chairman that's going to be happening January 20th onwards, the Trump administration has said that they're going to put more power in the hands of the CFTC when it comes to regulating the crypto space. Even though they have essentially less employees and a smaller budget, but they're going to essentially be in more control of the regulations than the SEC ever is going to be ever again. And Rostam Benham, the CFTC chairman, said that within 6 months, he's going to be regulating the crypto space. Rostam Benham went in front of Congress and said that the SEC is wasting everybody's time and that Gary Gensler is wasting everybody's time and he's not doing the job that's been assigned to him. And Rostam Benham said that he's going to be regulating the market space within 6 months if he had the power, which is why you can see the Trump administration is going to give more power to the CFTC chairman, Rostam Benham, than leave it in the SEC's hands, even though the SEC is getting a new essentially chairman. So the only way, will we be able to pay off some of our US debt and slow BRICS nation down? Yes. Well, it depends. I mean, if they're going to be going for a Bitcoin strategy, then yes, you can back the Bitcoin with the debt, or you can back other crypto assets with the debt. So it's a possibility, yes. But regarding BRICS, BRICS is already dismantling itself, because the moment Trump comes in, he said any country going against the US dollar, they're going to get extreme amounts of tariffs or sanctions. Pretty much that country will crumble. So China is going to have to let go of the whole BRICS idea. Putin has already said that if the sanctions are lifted from Russia, they're pretty much going to jump out of BRICS. Because every country is already creating CBDCs anyways, but the BRICS nations was a collective of baskets, which in reality was China's yuan. But it's going to dismantle. I said this previously as well. Last year I said, the chances of anybody going against the US dollars is slim to 1 billion. Honestly, you have a higher chance of getting shocked by lightning 500 times than the BRICS nations succeeding and going against the US dollars. I said this last year. I said BRICS will fall apart. And for people who might think this is bad news for XRP or XRP Ledger, in other words, or Ripple, if BRICS falls apart, it's not bad news. BRICS existing or BRICS not existing, either way, XRP Ledger or XRP is still profiting. It doesn't matter because they're still going to have CBDCs. It's just the other one was together, this one separately. So either way it goes, BRICS or not BRICS, XRP is still essentially benefiting either way. Now, Bernstein. Bernstein is essentially Bitcoin to replace gold is their newest statements. They came out with a new report and essentially came out and said Bitcoin is going to replace gold, and it is a digital gold valuation. And they're essentially going off Jerome Powell's speech comparing Bitcoin not to the US dollars but to gold instead. Bernstein's analyst essentially has predicted that Bitcoin will become the leading store of value over the next 10 years, replacing gold. He believes that the flagship cryptocurrency will play a crucial role in the corporate finance space, and that Bernstein has predicted that Bitcoin's price could potentially surge to as high as $200,000. After Bitcoin failed to gain traction as a means of payments, many of this prominence essentially pivoted towards digital gold narrative, which has ended up being extremely successful because Bitcoin is terrible for payments. But a substitute for gold, sure, why not? Push Bitcoin above $100,000 mark for the first time that happened, and essentially the cryptocurrency tycoons have come out and praised the whole idea. And Bitcoin's Adam Black has also predicted that the cryptocurrency could achieve such a milestone during next year, $200,000. And gold and Bitcoin are currently valued at $17.9 trillion and $2 trillion. Bitcoin recently surpassed silver, which is currently valued at $1.8 trillion. And meanwhile, gold bug Peter has also essentially not still warming up to the idea of cryptocurrencies. There are still a lot of haters out there inside the, you could say, corporate space, but Peter does have corporate background, but he's more of an analyst these days. But there are still a lot of people out there who hate the idea of Bitcoin, which is, at one point, you have to let it go. There's a lot of people out there that hate XRP. There's a lot of people out there that essentially hate XLM or XDC or crypto assets in general. Those people will be left behind. And the people who understood that the world is changing and it's either adapt or get left behind, well, you can tell easily who's going to be left behind on CBDCs and who's going to do very well in the digital world. The ones that adapt will do well in the digital world. The ones that don't adapt, good luck on CBDCs. Now, South Korea is what we're going to be talking about next. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Miles, do you have, as I said previously as well, this is live, which means get involved inside the comment section if you do have any questions. Don't be shy. Even if it's your first time watching this, if you have a question, go for it. And the next news we're going to be talking about South Korea, essentially, which South Korea is going through some difficulties right now regarding martial law situations and so on. But their crypto markets have been affected, which has affected XRP and a few other crypto assets, which I've revealed before. But we have an update on South Korea's market space and an update on one particular jurisdiction in South Korea of them going towards blockchain completely and cashless. But now, before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Miles, will 500 times one shock is enough? Miles, do you have an opinion on Axela, AXL coin? It's an improbability chain. Just wondering if you've heard of it. I have heard of Axela, but I don't know what their recent developments are. I mean, I don't know what their recent developments are. I don't know what their recent contracts are, if they have any, or with any sort of licensings. Tony, direct message me. I'll take a look into it. Miles, is ACH a long-term hold? Yes, ACH is a long-term hold, but ACH goes up in price. In most cases, I'm going to be selling it and putting it back inside my XRP or XLM or XDC. ACH will do better under rules and regulations, especially when Ethereum gets its Ethereum staking capabilities. The moment Ethereum ETFs are refiled with staking capabilities under a new SEC chairman is when you're going to see Ethereum start climbing the ladder, because then it's bringing something to the table for Wall Street heads to go forward with it. Bitcoin brings that limited supply to the table. That's why the Bitcoin ETF did very well. Ethereum didn't bring anything to the table with the Ethereum ETF. What could have brought to the table was staking, but Gary Gensler didn't want staking on Ethereum. So Ethereum ETFs get refiled with staking capabilities. More eyes from Wall Street, more investments go onto Ethereum's chain, which means more eyes will be on Ethereum's ecosystems, which means more eyes will be on Ethereum's payment systems, which comes back to ACH. So that needs to happen on the rules and regulations. But it is a long-term hold if you want to go for ACH, which I'm holding as well. But I am going to be selling ACH. At the end, I'm only going to be holding forever XRP, XLM, XDC, and HBOL forever. If I do sell one of those, I'm never selling my XRP. Not in a million years. I'm always going to be borrowing against it, using as collateral to skip on tax. Now, South Korea. South Korea is essentially Jeju, aims for cashless city with blockchain. What it is also is this why South Korea has had this martial law situation? I mean, there's other reasons why it is all related to money and blockchain, believe it or not. But one essentially particular province in South Korea is going to go completely cashless. It's going to go completely essentially in terms of digital payments, CBDC payments, and so on. So, Jeju, South Korea's special self-governing province, has announced plans to implement digital payments for cross-border transactions. The province included digital payments initiatives in its Jeju AI and digital transformation roadmap. According to a recent announcement, the roadmap essentially aims to revolutionize Jeju into a cashless international city in South Korea, a cashless international city. Under the new plan, Jeju will enable digital asset-based cross-border payments with neighboring countries like China and Japan. The system will allow digital assets, including essentially crypto assets or Bitcoin or any sort of crypto assets, to be essentially converted into local use, CBDCs. It is important to note that the recent proposal is one of Jeju's numerous pro-cryptocurrency activities spanning many, many years, as far as back as 2018, a ICO era. Then the governor of Jeju, Won Hing-cheng, called for legislative actions to support his proposal towards making the region essentially a global blockchain hub in South Korea. He also asked the national government to create an incentive for companies to host their ICOs in Jeju. And in 2021, the local governor of Jeju initiated moves to introduce blockchain in several fields, including traffic management. The government also focused on using novel technologies to disrupt other areas like VAT refunds to foreign essential tourists and managing scrap batteries. Alongside this, the government worked towards establishing clear standards for cryptocurrencies and their issuance. Jeju, also the pro-crypto outlook is clear, pronounced, and the local government has sustained its digitalizations of projects for several years. The region's openness to emerging technologies makes it a destination for many essentially innovators and suitable locations for several international blockchain events. Jeju's latest essentially concedes with the growing cryptocurrency awareness, trailing Donald Trump's victory inside the last US presidential elections. The incoming president's pro-crypto approach injected a significant vibe into the industry, increasing demand for crypto assets as reflected in their rising prices. The day Donald Trump was elected, the day Donald Trump and the Republican Party won by a landslide, was an incredible day, to be fairly honest. We did an 8-hour live, but putting that to one side, I said, because America is going to go pro-crypto, because America is going to go pro-crypto with rules and regulations and institutions coming in, there's no more gray areas, banks coming in. I said 8 companies followed MicroStrategy's footsteps. The United Kingdom followed Slovenia's footsteps in essentially tokenizations. I said the biggest market space in the world is about to go full crypto, become a blockchain hub. And I said every single country, every single bank, every single institution, every single small, medium, large corporation is going to be following America's footsteps. They go America goes pro crypto, the world will go pro crypto. That's just how it is. As the Bank of International Settlements puts it, if the American markets sneeze, the world market catches a cold. So whatever they do, everybody will follow in suit. And I said, what MicroStrategy is doing is, 8 companies followed their footsteps. I said, times what MicroStrategy did for the Bitcoin space by 1,000 for the entire crypto space when it comes to the American market space. And that's what I said the day Donald Trump was elected, essentially. Fast forward to today. Now, I've been saying this for a few days as well, the same things that I said that day, where we have South Korea essentially stating the only reason South Korea is going to be doing a cashless city as a testing ground, and then the rest of the country will follow, is because of Donald Trump. They said because Donald Trump is bringing in a pro-crypto essentially approach to the industries and increasing demand for crypto assets is the only reason South Korea is going to go and create a cashless city, and just, the rest of the country will follow in suit. But that's the only reason. The entire world is about to go pro-crypto the moment Donald Trump takes his seat and going forward. This is what I said. We're going to be 4 years of making money because of Donald Trump. 4 years of making money. The world is about to go pro-crypto because of this man. That's their reasonings. This is coming from essentially the JGU's council coming out of essentially South Korea stating that's the only reason we're going cashless, because of Donald Trump. And they're in South Korea. BSP, the Philippine Central Bank, is what we're going to talk about next. So moving on essentially from the world following America, 2025 is going to be absolutely incredible. And as I've said previously for a million times, and I'll say it again proudly, thank God Donald Trump won. Honestly, thank God Donald Trump won, because if OnlyFans Kamala Harris would have won, it would have been a very cold 4 years. 4 years of making no money if Kamala Harris would have won. 4 years of everybody going broke. A lot of people were, well, actually not a lot of people, because the Republican Party won by a landslide, but worldwide type of scenario, some people were very stupid and actually thought Kamala Harris was a good idea. It's like choosing to be poor on purpose. If you voted for Kamala Harris on purpose, you were choosing to be poor on purpose. Imagine choosing to be poor on purpose. Now, BSP. The Philippine Central Bank has completed their testings for the proof of concept for its wholesale CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency CBDC, which is expected to facilitate 24/7 fund transfers. So the Central Bank of essentially the Philippines didn't really want to go into CBDCs, but after having a conversation with the Bank of International Settlements, they had no choice. The Bangko Sentro Philippines, the Philippine Central Bank, announced its conclusion of its trial phase of a CBDC initiative, codenamed Project Agila. Under the initiative, the central bank worked alongside participating financial institutions to assess the system's performance, functionality, programmability, and security. The wholesale CBDC is designed to facilitate secure round-the-clock fund transfers, including weekends and holidays, among financial institutions. It has been essentially developed using distributed ledger technology hosted on a Coral cloud infrastructure. Wholesale CBDCs are issued by central banks and serve as a financial institutions for high-value transactions such as interbank payments, security settlements, and cross-border transactions. Unlike retail CBDCs, which are aimed for general public wholesale, CBDCs cater exclusively to institutional use cases. According to BSP Governor, wholesale CBDCs could enhance liquidity management, reduce settlement risk, and support financial stability in a bid to modernize the nation's economy. The central bank plans to use insights from the Project Agila to develop a long-term CBDC roadmap aimed to modernizing the country's financial infrastructure. Project Agila aims to assess how CBDC's essential technology can improve the efficiencies and resilience of the Philippines' large value payment systems. While the BCP has not committed to essentially issuing a CBDC, the project underscores the strategies to adapt emerging technologies for financial modernization. The central bank has set its tentatives and timelines to introduce a wholesale CBDC. They're saying by 2029, but they're talking out their arse. They're going to be more likely 2025, 2026. Aligning with the governor's intention as communicated by July press briefings. And BSP Deputy Governor also noted the time of the decision to launch a wholesale CBDC would depend heavily on the readiness of both the central bank and financial institutions. He explained that such a launch would only occur once the BSP is confident in its ability to offer and maintain and operate it safely, and when the banks also have developed viable business use cases for digital currencies. Emphasized the importance of essentially ensuring operational security and understanding the practical implications of implementing a BSP-issued digital currency, noting this entirely new and requires both the central bank and institutions to achieve a high level of literacy and preparedness. CBDCs have become a focal point for central banks globally as they explore digital currency solutions to modernize their financial systems. India, similar to Philippines, has adapted a cautious approach to digital rupees, piloted launched back in 2022 as a bank-to-bank solution. The Reserve Bank of India is also currently evaluating the security implications and potential impacts of monetary policies and transmissions. The Reserve Bank of India's Deputy Governor also has stated that the rollout to the retail users of a CBDC will only proceed after through assessments with no fixed timelines established. Brazil is also introducing an advanced version of a CBDC initiative called DREX after entering the second phase of pilot program, which there's a lot of CBDC releases coming in 2025 as well. And as I've said previously, 24,000 plus crypto projects. There's only one crypto project that has an active CBDC platform that has won multiple CBDC awards, and it's XRP. They've won multiple CBDC awards and have an active CBDC platform, and 98% of centralized banks around the world. According to the Bank of International Settlements and the International Monetary Fund, 98% of centralized banks are in CBDCs. And the Bank of International Settlements has a PDF document, public document titled Cross-Border Payments, and Ripple's on there. On the topic of CBDCs, on the topic of Ripple, or on the topic of XRP, DC Wallet, powered by Radix. If you don't remember what Radix is, Radix was a crypto project that I introduced to everyone last year, XRD. And I said that Radix has a bright future ahead of itself due to the essentially partnerships and contracts it has in place. So XRD has announced partnership with Indian government company AFC for CBDC adoption in India. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, how is this any relevance to XRP or the XRP ledger or Ripple? This is Radix XRD and the Indian company and the Indian government company AFC that they're creating for CBDC adoptions. Where's Ripple's part of this? Where's XRP ledgers a part of this? Well, DC Wallet, powered by Radix Technology, a venture by Menso Global, has now a strict partnership with the AFC India Ltd, a government of India's undertaking. The partnership aims to accelerate the adoption of CBDCs in India and other countries near the future. After the Reserve Bank of India's confirmation of digital rupees test with Ripple's XRP ledger for institutional use cases, Indian digital rupees, CBDC, wholesale and retail, confirmed Reserve Bank of India, XRP ledger for institutional use cases, DC Wallet, powered by Radix's XRD ledger, will support this initiative to fast-track the mass adoption of CBDC in India. XRD, Radix, who are essentially partnered with quite a lot of banks and institutions, are now in favor of the XRP ledger. XRD is going to be, essentially, they've created a wallet, a CBDC wallet, that is going to help fast-track at a rapid pace retail and wholesale CBDCs in India to boost the XRP ledger for CBDCs in India. This is essentially their own words. DC Wallet, powered by Radix XRD ledger, will support the initiative to fast-track the mass adoption of CBDCs in India. Reserve Bank of India, due to the Reserve Bank of India's confirmation of digital rupees test, Ripple's XRP ledger for institutional use cases. This is what DC Wallet is doing to help out. DC Wallet, powered by Radix, is launching an advanced platform for CBDCs and digital asset management in collaboration with AFC, the Indian Government Corporation. The initiative aims to streamline programmable money adoptions in India, equipping local banks, governments, and private financial institutions with cutting-edge technology to harness the power of programmable money, CBDC money. The strategy spans to provide closed-loop wallet solutions to sectors such as agriculture, education, and travel, with the potential of reaching over 200 million users and integrations with banks and NBFCs. Aligned with the Reserve Bank of India's goal of enhancing financial inclusion, AFC will help integrate DC Wallet with public and private sector banks, enhancing last-mile conveniency and connectivity through offline transactions. For India's unbanked and underbanked population, the solution also offers a cost-effective cross-border payments for inward remittances, mainly from the Indian diaspora. This will be through partnerships with remittance companies and having licensings internationally, starting with India is going to be doing payments, cross-border payments India wants to do with CBDCs. Which countries do you think India wants to do CBDC payments with? Canada, Australia. With Radix's XRD ledger and DC Wallet's quantum-ready security for high-value transactions, the platform also ensures secure, efficient transactions, fostering trust among users and institutions. The wallet is designed for retail and institutional CBDC use, focusing on security, operational efficiency, and the ease of access. Revolutionizing digital asset management with DC Wallet. DC Wallet offers advanced digital currency management features powered by Radix technology stack. Key features include security and compliance, real-time AML, CFTC monitoring, quantum-grade encryptions, fraud resistance, and biometric security for your CBDC wallet. Multi-wallet support, manage and transact multiple assets within one interference. Integrate identity management's built-in ID storage for enhanced convenience and security. Fast transactions. Radix's XRD ledger enables transactions to finalize in under 5 seconds, supporting higher frequencies and higher essentially transfers. Seamless asset conversions, instant asset switchings with minimal fees. Interoperability. Cross-chain functionalities for retail, easy essentially cross-platform payments and wholesale payments, seamless G2G and BTB transactions. Accessibility, mobile and offline options, support under-resourced essentially geographics and limited connectivity, offline CBDC in other words. Anyone wishing to dive, essentially, so little thing about the DC Wallet. DC Wallet is an advanced and feature-rich digital currency and asset manager. The project is based on Radix's XRD ledger, combining blockchain solutions and scalability and security. With this collaboration with the AFC, DC Wallet integrates seamlessly with India's financial infrastructure to speed up the rapid course of CBDCs. Now, also on the topic of XRP, Worksport stocks have jumped 9%. This is pretty much the first company based out of Wall Street that has decided to follow MicroStrategy's footsteps. MicroStrategy's footsteps are buy Bitcoin, no matter what the price is, and back it as a reserve into the company. And MSTR stock has been boosted on that basis. And 9 companies have followed MicroStrategy's footsteps, buying Bitcoin and backing it. One company that has just announced today, they're going to essentially be backing their company and using the MicroStrategy essentially step-by-step blueprint, but they're going to be adding Bitcoin and XRP to their company. Shares of the United States manufacturer Worksport surged 9.1% after the company decided to incorporate Bitcoin and XRP into its treasury strategy. According to the announcement, Worksport plans to allocate up to 10% of any excess cash from operations to purchase Bitcoin and XRP, with initial investment up to $5 million. Taking this step, the company expects to hedge against inflation while diversifying its treasury. Along with investing excess reserves, Worksport will also accept crypto payments on its e-commerce platform. The company anticipates a 37% reduction in transaction costs with crypto payments. As Bitcoin and XRP continue to gain investor attention and acceptance as a major asset classes, we believe they may serve as a strong treasury reserve asset, their inflation-resistant characteristics making them increasingly reliable stores of value, said the CEO of Worksport. The company has been listed on NASDAQ since 2021 and manufactures energy solutions for trucks, including essentially covers and integrated with mobile solar powers and generation systems. It also plans to convert interest earnings from cash held in money market accounts into Bitcoin and XRP, as well as it allocates a percentage of future for capital raises to cryptocurrencies. By essentially allocating a portion of our treasury to these digital assets and accepting crypto payments, we're enhancing our financial strategy and aligning ourselves with the future of global finance. Worksport is following a growing trend among publicly traded companies of using cash reserves to buy digital assets. Worksport CEO Stephen Rossi emphasized Bitcoin's role in inflation and protection and transaction efficiency, while also drawing in attention to XRP's potential as a stable and valuable asset. Stephen Rossi also noted that he has been personally investing in XRP for several years. This man has been personally investing into XRP for several years as CEO of a company listed on Wall Street, on the NASDAQ. And here's a little, small breakdown of why he's investing into XRP for his company. He said, I think XRP is going to become a much more stable currency and asset. as one of the reasons he's investing into XRP for his company. The other reason is also, he said, although I think XRP will be volatile, like most assets in short term, but he said, we believe in his company that investing in XRP will benefit us in the long term. I will pleasantly be surprised to see my XRP in my wallet and that XRP has been performing quite well lately. This rally, that's essentially XRP and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are on an early stage in terms of assets, are truly challenging central banks. So that was the CEO perspective from Worksport, a company listed on the Nasdaq since 2021 on Wall Street. The company's CEO has been buying XRP for several years, and now he wants to buy XRP for his company, just like Michael Saylor is doing it through MSTR, and his company's shares that went through the roof. He's the first one to do this, and he won't be the last one. I'm telling you right now, we're going to get a lot more companies coming forward and saying we want to buy crypto assets as a reserve strategy. And they're going to be using XRP. They're going to be going for Bitcoin, but they're also going to be going for XRP. Or some might just go for XRP. You never know. But what I am trying to say is that even this man sees a big future in XRP because the contracts are there to show it. So, I mean, his own words essentially is that, he said, although I think XRP will be volatile like most assets in the short term, we believe that investing in XRP will benefit us in the long term. I think XRP has become a much more stable currency and asset, which is all facts. But look, as I said previously, if you are somebody that owns XRP, your future looks incredibly bright. And this rally that we had, XRP going to third place, now dabbling fourth to third right now today. And if you haven't sold essentially if you haven't sold for profits and you're wondering to yourself, why didn't I sell? Some people might be going, it was at, $2 or above $2. Why didn't I sell my XRP? Now it's down and so on. These numbers that you're seeing are nothing compared to what's going to be happening in 2025 and moving forward. I'm telling you right now, the market's going to go absolutely ballistic. The market is going to go absolutely ballistic in 2025 and beyond for the next 4 years because of Trump, because of a new SEC chairman, because of a new FDIC chairman, because of rules and regulations. Banks and institutions no longer need to operate in gray areas. And America going pro-crypto means the rest of the world will go crypto, which means every company, every bank, every small local family business, everybody will be going towards digital assets. And if you still don't at that moment in time, well, you're going to get left behind anyways. But the banks, institutions, local businesses, mega corporations, medium corporations, worldwide, everybody's going to follow America's footsteps. Already, they're following America's footsteps. America announces we're going to create a Bitcoin reserve, 5% of Bitcoin. Brazil comes out, we're going to create a Bitcoin reserve. Hong Kong comes out, we're going to create a Bitcoin reserve. China's thinking about doing a Bitcoin reserve. They banned Bitcoin. And it's all because Trump comes out on stage and goes, we're going to create a Bitcoin reserve. Now everybody's thinking about Bitcoin reserves. Or South Korea today announcing essentially they're going to be creating a cashless city. Why? When they were asked the reason, because Trump is going to create a pro-America, so we're going to test try a cashless city and go towards crypto assets in South Korea. The world is about to go pro-crypto because of Trump. So it's genuinely 4 years of making money. So the price rallies you saw now are nothing compared to the prices you're going to be seeing in 2025 and beyond. And that is all because of Donald Trump. So if you're somebody inside the crypto space that is not grateful of Trump being president, be grateful, because Trump is the only man that's going to put you towards financial freedom. As much as you might not like the man, I've always liked Trump. I've always supported Trump from his first term, from the first time he became president until now. I've always supported Trump. But if you're somebody out there that doesn't support Trump or is inside the crypto space and you don't support Trump, be grateful, because he is the reason you're going to be reaching those financial goals. Trump is the only reason that everybody around the world is going to be reaching their financial goals, but only if you're positioned correctly inside the market space. And remember, the number one category inside the crypto space It's not the Web3 category or the gaming category or the AI category or the tokenization category, because that technically falls under the finance category, which is the number one category inside the crypto space. The finance category is the number one category inside the crypto space. Tokenization is just another department inside the financial category. But the finance category is the number one category. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, and so on. They will do it the best on the regulations. The best on the regulations. The financial category will. And then data will follow, Web3 will follow, gaming will follow, AI will follow, and so on and so on. But the number one category is money. Money is going digital. So any project related to the idea of money going digital is the number one category. And the one that leads the most in that area is XRP. XRP is number one in the financial category. Number two is, essentially XLM and XDC and HBAR and so on. Number 2, 3, and 4 are debatable, but number 1 is not debatable. It's XRP when it comes to finance category. So yeah, if you're somebody that's inside the crypto space, honestly, the years ahead are going to be incredible. What we can already see is hints. Companies coming out saying we're going to start using XRP in reserve assets. We haven't reached January 20th yet. South Korea coming out and saying we're creating a cashless city. Why? Because of Trump. Trump hasn't still even taken his seat January 20th yet. Brazil thinking about doing cash reserves. Trump hasn't taken his seat yet. Hong Kong's thinking about doing it. He hasn't taken his seat yet. You can see what's about to happen. You're getting hints of what's about to happen. Now, all good things must come to an end, which they have right now. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this was the CMF Live. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And my name is Miles. I go by the persona of Crypto Mouse, and I'm the host of this live Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time. And this was episode 217 of the CMF Live, which is incredible that we're on episode 217 right now. And if you watch this for the first time ever, on this live, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. And if you're watching this for the first time ever on YouTube, subscribe if you already haven't. If you're watching this on X, like, retweet, comment, share. And also join the Telegram group of this live. It's free. Everything I do is completely free of source. Join the Telegram group of this live. Join the X community page of this live as well. And let's go quickly inside the comment section before we come to a complete end. Let's see what's going on in there. Hi, brother. Did I miss too much? Quite a bit, yes. Facts. The 8-hour live was historical, bro. Yeah, definitely. Let's go, Ray. Facts. Thank God Donald Trump won. It's crazy work to have voted for Kamala. Yeah. XRD. Davey, let's go. David Sachs in the White House. Cryptocurrencies and ARCs are good or bad news? Who's David Sachs? I'll look into it and give you a better perspective tomorrow. Question, Miles, will CoinMove ever need something like this? Licensings? Yes. CoinMove is getting licenses as well. Good news for XRD then, Miles. I give a small bag. You think it's worth adding more XRD? Small bag is good enough. Focus more on XRP, XLM, XDC, because that's the bigger picture. XRD is good, but the bigger picture is XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. That's the bigger picture. XRD is going to boost XRP. So if you're in XRP, you're good to go, to be fairly honest. Miles, what do you think of the average Joe that holds XRP? Like how much just off the top of your mind? Miles, what do you think the average Joe holds? 1,000 tokens? 100 to 1,000 tokens, which is an incredible amount to be holding. If more companies lock up XRP in their portfolios, it could cause a shortage in XRP, so the price will go up. Yes, it will. Facts. And Miles is never wrong. Facts. Let's go, Denise. Miles, what is your opinion on MetaMask to use as a hot wallet? No, Trust Wallet is better. Mickey, Trust Wallet is better. Good night, Miles and CMF. Go Spooner. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual. All right, then. Take care, Miles and CMF. Ray, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual, brother. Good night, Miles and family. Brilliant live. Many thanks for all you do. See you tomorrow. Ian, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well. Thank you, Miles. Daniel, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Thanks for amazing live, brother. I will rewatch soon. Got hung up at work. No problem, Camel. See you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. Good night, Miles. And good night. Good night, Miles and CMF. Great live. Let's go. See you tomorrow. Free and forever. See you tomorrow, sometimes as usual. Thanks, Legend. Night and day, CMF. Let's go, Shelly. Shelly, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual as well. Shelly's brother. Hopefully, see you tomorrow as well. Good night, Miles and CMF. Carol, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual as well. Thanks, Miles. Another great live show. Another great show tonight. Let's go, Kobito. See you tomorrow, sometimes as usual. If you haven't, like, tweet, comment, share, and subscribe if you already haven't. And I will be seeing everybody tomorrow. Hit the like. Let's go, Daniel. Another great live, Miles, as usual. Night, everyone. Joe, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Thanks again, Miles. Have a great night. Let's go, Mickey. Mickey, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. For me, this is episode 600 plus. Yeah. If you're coming off TikTok, yeah. Let's go, Chozo. Good night, Miles and family. Funky brother, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. I'll be seeing everybody tomorrow. Same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. Like, comment, retweet, share, subscribe, follow. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. See everybody tomorrow for episode 218 of the CMF Live. See everyone tomorrow.